Welcome to the Run Cult podcast, where running meets the culture. Today, we have two special guests in here. One, the homie of the ATL run scene. We have Michael Boyd, the coolest girl of the ATL run scene, here with me, Aziza Harding. Thank you guys so much for being here. Today, we are planning on talking all things running in ATL, marathon training, social media, and just being a runner today in 2026 in the city. So, welcome. How's it going?
Going great.
Just to do like a quick little introduction, just tell us, of course, your name, where you're from, how long you've been in Atlanta, and how long you've been running. We'll start with you.
Well, my name is Aziza. I'm originally from New York City, specifically Manhattan, Lower East Side.
Oh.
Been living in Atlanta off and on. Moved here when I was in the 6th grade, then moved back here before the pandemic in 2018, and started running for real in 2023.
Got it.
I'm Michael Boyd, born and raised in Sumter, South Carolina.
Hey.
Been running I started running in high school, but I didn't really run as an adult until like the pandemic, so about 6 years, but I didn't really like run for real until like I moved back to Atlanta. I've been in Atlanta for going on 10 years, off and on. Came here for grad school in 2014, left, moved to DC. That's when I started back running again. And now here we are.
Here we go. Perfect. Well, welcome. Thank y'all for being here again. Happy Black History Month.
Sure, yes.
Let's get it.
How does it feel to be Black in 2026?
Feels great to be Black. Like literally we just came back from Lunar 5K and it was Black as I don't know what.
We did take over that space and it was great.
Yeah.
For real?
I love that for us. We will show up everywhere.
No, that's a fact. Especially out here. It's a huge community. Wait, so yeah, you guys just ran that, the Lunar 5K with ARC, right?
Yep.
Correct.
So was that in celebration of Chinese New Year? Or?
Yep.
Got
Year
it.
of the Horse.
Year of the Horse.
Yep.
Yeehaw.
And we were out there representing.
Period.
High key,
How was the race?
tough.
For real?
Very hilly and very cold.
That too.
But we both finished well. So.
Yeah, I got that PR.
Oh my God.
Good.
No wonder you was hobbling over here. Cut the cameras.
Oh my God.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about how you guys both got into running. There seems to be a through line in both of your stories that I've noticed in having a mental health moment that brought you to running, whether it was through grief or depression. So let's start with you. How has mental health played a part in the beginning of your running journey?
Yeah, so me joining ARC was definitely a part of my grief journey. I started running in 2023 after experiencing the very sudden loss of my dad in 2022.
Wow.
I came into running through him. Like, he put me into track and field as a child. He would always tell us stories like, I almost represented Barbados in the Olympics. And
Yeah.
you know when you hear your parents tell you things as a child, you're just like,
It's like you're just yapping.
lying, and that's fine. So,
Wow.
but after his passing, my cousin showed me an article where he almost did qualify for the Olympics to represent Barbados. And I remember having a conversation with my therapist in December of 2022, and I was like, hey, I am not handling this very well. I was very depressed. I didn't leave my house. I literally lost all sense of myself. And I just really needed an outlet to, I don't know, bring myself closer to him and also do a thing that we used to enjoy doing together. And I also just wanted community and to meet people. And so I remember getting off my Zoom call with her and just going on Instagram, and I literally typed in Atlanta Run and ARC popped up.
Oh my God.
And I was like, they meet on Mondays. And I was like, all right, I'll be there. I think it was a Friday, and so I just showed up that Monday. I showed up in some really cheap Nike Reacts, I think.
Oh my goodness.
And I
just showed up.
I
That was
just
the
kept
beginning.
coming every Monday. So
You and your dad used to run together?
Yeah. Mhm.
What?
yeah, he would take me over to Reading Middle School, Reading High School, and take me to the track, and we would be out there running, and that's how we would spend a lot of our Saturdays,
Oh,
Saturday mornings. Yeah.
wow. Interesting.
Mhm.
So you join ARC after, kind of chatting with your therapist through your grief journey. From there, did you start feeling better, or how did you go from beginner to at least intermediate?
Grief comes in, goes in waves. So when I first joined, it was just like really nice to just be around a group of people.
Got it.
Like I said, I completely isolated myself from a lot of people after his passing. And through meeting people and just people's kindness, I remember the first person I met was Camilo, and just like seeing his like high energy and him embracing me.
Yeah. So he's very high energy, super intense.
Yes.
That made me feel really warm and really welcoming, and I just needed that like love and space. And so I don't think he knows really like what kind of space I was in at that time, but that really like meant a lot.
That is very interesting because I did not have a grief journey when I joined ARC, but one thing I will never forget is the kindness that I experienced on that first time that I entered, that I joined. I believe it was Brittany, Raisa, who I met, who just kind of literally took me in. So that's one thing ARC will hold you down for. And kind of getting you right. Let's hear a little bit about you. How did mental health play a part in the beginning of your running journey?
So for me, like, I think the first time I was going to run, it was because like I developed asthma like after my first year of running track in high school. So I stopped doing all that good stuff. But when I started back when I was in DC, it was right before the pandemic. I was like, no, so I want to grow out this asthma. But also at the time, I was working for a Big Four consulting firm. So it was high stress, 'cause I'm always on like a crazy project.
Oh my goodness.
And then pandemic hit, so I went from being in office to being not in office. And that was around a time where no one really knew how to work hybrid. It was like, oh, I'm working more hours because I'm at my computer all day, every day. I'm not really like walking to the different meetings and all that good stuff.
So did it make you antisocial?
It didn't make me antisocial per se. It was more so I felt like I was like this in my head all the time, thinking about, all right, what can I do better, even though I have everything against me because I'm a Black person in corporate. I think I was just doing like runs like every afternoon, like after work. I used to even post on like my Strava at the time, like mental health, like running for my mind, something like that. So it was just something where I could just start running. I could just forget what happened during the day, listen to music while I'm running. There was a trail near my apartment at the time, so I could just run, see the views, maybe see a deer or something run across the road or the trail. So it was just something that just helped me like stay grounded.
Did you have any mental health issues such as depression, or was it just you were just kind of ruminating in your head and overthinking?
At that time, because like I did battle with like depression before I moved to DC, but I wasn't running. I wasn't doing anything at the time. So I wish I did pick up running, doing that part of my life. But like when I got older, learned like how I cope with stress and mental health, I knew I needed to do something to keep me level-headed, keep me grounded.
Got it. So there was some stress from the job. You're working damn near nonstop at home, and you also had this asthma that you wanted to conquer. Got it. Okay.
Yep.
I always found the asthma part to be super quirky. I'm like, people still have asthma. I swear.
People still have asthma.
Yes.
I haven't heard about an inhaler and asthma since like high school or middle school. So I was like, wait, people are still suffering. I'm a little out of touch with that, guys. All right, so then you get into running. You're on your running journeys. Did you join a particular club, or you started off running alone? And then
I started running alone. Like when I was in DC, I used to have people invite me to DC Run Crew. But
is that different from DRC?
Yes, it's different from DRC. They do more like how can I put it, more like HIIT workouts and intervals. Like they be on a track doing like 200-meter sprints and stuff like that. At the time, that was back then where I was kind of scared to join like big groups. I'm like, I don't know these people. I'm not a fast runner. I don't think I can run a certain length, certain distance.
Is there an intimidation?
Yes.
With big run crews? What do you think?
For sure. Before I joined ARC, I was doing like solo runs just 1 to 2 miles off the Greenway, which is like by my apartment. And I was not enjoying that. And so my friend suggested maybe you should join a run club for group running. But I go to these Instagrams and I'm looking at these like very professional, like very serious looking people.
Quality produced.
Yeah. I'm like, look at these run out. I have stupid leggings and like a random shirt.
I have holes in my shirt.
And some cheap running shoes, you know what I mean? So that was a major intimidation factor for sure.
So how can these crews make it feel a little bit more inclusive? Like, how can somebody that's on their phone feel like they can go and not feel judged or anything like that? What do you think?
I feel for me, if I see a diversity, and not even just in terms of like people, but people's body types, people who would say that they describe themselves as like Sora runners, because I look at a lot of these run clubs and I'm like, I do not run a 7-8 minute. I cannot do that.
It's elite right there.
Yeah, so if I see diversity in like the kind of imagery that you're portraying on your social media, I think that would be like lessen the intimidation for me anyway.
What do you think?
I'm pretty much the same way, because with like DC Run Crew, I had people that was asking me to come visit or come try it out.
Okay, so you have friends.
And it was just the fact that at the time I wasn't aware like those friends were actually people that run my pace. I didn't understand like pace and all that good stuff at the time. I was like really, really green. But like when I finally went out there, I'm like, oh, I can keep up with y'all. And then next thing you know, I might move to the next level because I'm actually faster than what I thought I was. And that actually helped me a lot. Like, granted, I wasn't really talking to that many people, even though I did know people there. But it's just the fact that at one point, I got there, like, it's different, like, as Aziza said, it's diversity in, like, everything. Like, looks, sizes, speeds, all that. And it makes it so much easier. It's kind of like a two-way street. Like, clubs do offer that, but it's times where you just gotta get out of your head and actually just try.
That's true. Because I feel like as like a runner who's in the community, not necessarily like a run club leader, we do be having some demands for these run clubs. We be like, we want this. But at the same time, like, you do have to put your foot forward, and you have to make an effort to actually show up and do your part. It is a two-way street, but sometimes I think we can get kind of entitled, you know, and like demand things, which, you know, I guess it just depends on how they deal with it. But that's a good point. So there was a little bit of a gateway that you felt comfortable as far as pace or maybe diversity that made you feel like, all right, I could pull up. That's kind of how I felt. I saw a reel for ARC in November of like 2023 or something like that. It was some guy and he was mic'd up and he was doing something on the track, and I was like, what's this? And I found out it was free. So I just pulled up and with what I had, and it was been history ever since. So interesting. Let's talk about your marathon, ma'am.
Ooh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what a marathoner looks like, how you prepared for your marathon, what the marathon was.
My whole marathon journeys also started as a joke. I went with ARC to Seoul in October of 2023.
Where's Seoul?
Huh?
Where's Seoul?
Seoul, Korea.
South Korea.
Seoul, South Korea in 2023.
Wow.
Just crazy to run a 10K. And I had a layover in DC, and I ended up talking to this guy who was on his way to, I think, Japan or something like that to meet his internet girlfriend. Anyways, and so
Hold on.
while we're sitting there, he sees my ARC sweatshirt that Michael's wearing, and he's like, "Oh, like you're going there to run, but you don't look like a runner." He was like, "No, but like most runners are lean and like really skinny."
He's
And I was
making it
like-
worse with every
And I'm like,
sentence.
Sure.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And I remember like texting my friends, and I was like, "This guy just said I don't look like a runner."
That's crazy.
And I remember making a joke. I was like, "I'll show him I'm gonna run a marathon," and then it continuously became like an ongoing joke, like, "You should probably run a marathon."
Oh, wow.
And so I was talking to our friend Josh at the end of 2024, and I was like, "Hey, I think for my 35th year of life, I think I want to run a marathon." And so we both agreed that we would run Marine Corps. I also consulted Tunde, who ended up being my running coach. And we were talking about good beginner marathons. And I mentioned Hawaii because I was like, oh, we could make a whole trip out of it. And he was like, I don't think that's where you should start. So he sent me a list and told me, I think this will be the course for you. It's pretty flat. There's just one little hill at the end, which almost took me out. But anyways, ended up talking to another one of my friends, Tori, who was like, yeah, look, let's lock in, let's do this together. So the three, me, Josh, and Tori signed up together, and we decided we would train together. And if I didn't have other people to do it, I don't think I would have gone as far, nor do I think I would have enjoyed my experience, even though it was very difficult. I trained for 4 months. I basically ran every single day. I was running before work. I was running after work.
Ooh.
I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go to track on Thursday mornings before I went to work. So it was a lot. Yes.
Quickly. That's crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's not crazy, but it's a lot.
No, it is crazy.
Okay.
Actually.
You gotta be crazy to be that determined.
That's amazing. So talk to us about the person that you had to become, because sometimes it's not always about the end of being able to run the marathon and getting the medal, but instead the journey of those early mornings, maybe late nights, learning nutrition, fuel, recovery.
Yeah.
How did you change as a person in that journey?
I had to become a very strong person. So during the 4 months, I did not drink. It was a lot of early nights, very early mornings. So that means I wasn't going out. I wasn't really hanging out with friends as much. I pretty much gave up my entire summer to train for a marathon, which ended up being, considering it being a second full-time job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So then, so then tell us how the race was and how life changed after that, or not that it was a crazy change, but how was life after the race and how was the race itself?
The race itself was hard. It was fun, but it was hard. I really loved the energy of DC. I had a couple of my friends fly up to cheer me on. I had a really good friend of mine who actually encouraged me. She's the one who encouraged me to look for Atlanta Run Club. So she flew down from New York and was there to witness me run my first marathon, which was amazing.
What a full circle moment.
I know, it was great. And I'm really glad that she came where she was. I ended up finding her at mile 17. And I remember at that moment kind of feeling like I'm very tired. I think I'm burning out. And she helped push me to mile 18, which is where I first stopped. I had to take a break. And I remember people telling me before I ran the race that you're going to probably hit a wall. And I didn't really know what felt like.
Yeah.
A half marathon wall feels completely different to a marathon wall. I remember hitting that at 18, but
Tell us about the wall.
It's like your body gives out. It's like you literally have ran into a wall. I there was so much lactic acid in my legs. I just could not move.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My legs locked up and I was like, yeah, okay, I gotta walk from here.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
At mile 8.
At mile 18.
18.
I don't think my body's ever felt like that before.
Wow. So you're what? 20 something. How many miles away from 26? At mile 18?
8.
8?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I really had to use the support from the crowd and my friends sending me voice notes. He sent me a couple voice notes, friends sending me text messages.
Thank you.
And if it wasn't for that, I actually don't know if I would have made it to the end because I really wanted to stop. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not fun. This is hard.
She's scaring me, by the way.
No. But
She did
You
all
feel
that
great.
and still had a good time.
So I surprised myself. So when I talked to Tunde, I told him my main goal, I didn't have a time. I just wanted to finish a marathon
Got it.
without passing away. I just wanted to get to the end. I didn't have a time goal. But for my training plan, he goaled me for a 5:20
Okay.
and ended up finishing in 4 hours and 50 minutes and 55 seconds.
Oh,
Which is insane.
Sister, you ate
And so when I
that.
finished, I
Yes.
I was like, yes, all right, I did that. So I surprised him. I surprised myself. I think I would do a marathon again, as hard as it was. I think I fear I have caught the marathon bug.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, you have my respect.
They about to spread to you. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Huh?
And I hope you too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Podcast over.
No.
Get out. Cut the cameras. Amazing. Wow, what an incredible achievement, girl. That's an inspiration to me, I'll tell you that. Like, I'm not there yet. So, you know, when you see your friends, your peers get to that point and they come back with the medal and you know, you watch them do the work. I saw her post, you know, every so often you'll be running. And I think I ran into her a couple times on Silver Comment. I was just by myself.
Not a silver comment.
Yeah, those long runs were trying and emotional. I don't think I've ever like broke down and cried during like a training run. Like mile 16 out there with friends. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. If I can't do 16, I can't do 10 more.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Marathon training will train that brain.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, my brain should be trained.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just read a book.
I mean, that works too, but.
or you can use have one. What is the ebook? Audible. While you're training for a full marathon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Training in groups.
Got it.
Really, if I didn't have my group of friends, that my training process, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah.
We're out there like 4 or 5 hours on a Saturday morning, struggling together just to get to the end. But, you know, you learn so much about people. They push you. You guys feed off of each other, and it really like strengthens friendships, I think. Yeah.
I can piggyback off that because when I was training for the Charlotte half, it was pretty much similar time I was at Ziza. But like normally when I train for races, I'm normally like by myself. I might have like 1 or 2 easy runs with like a run club with like friends. But like with my long runs, for some reason for like my training plan, I was doing 15 miles and I'm training for a half. But like running brunch, we had the Running Gibbs campaign with Lululemon. It was 3 or 4 long runs over a course of a couple months. That helped me so much with my long runs.
Really?
Yes. Like I'll go early. I'll wake up like 5 o'clock in the morning, get like 6 miles in, and then I just run with the group.
So it prepares you.
Yeah. Like there was one day I think I had like 10 miles. I had 10 more miles to do, 10 additional miles. If it wasn't for those who I was running with, no. But it definitely helped. And then you got people cheering for you. And
the community is super important. Like I always, when I can't make it to a run or I'm missing, like people can feel when you're gone. And when you're there, it's always good vibes. Like this running community in Atlanta is, I mean, of course, everyone probably feels like they have the best like community, but we have a huge network, and I see how everyone connects outside of running. I just saw y'all at someone's house turning up. I said, oh, okay. So it makes me happy, you know, whether or not I'm there, like, cause it's this central thing that brings us all together. So when you are training, you have someone not only cheering for you, but they can also run with you. Like that's what this whole thing is all about. It's not necessarily, you know, getting a PR every single time. It's about the journey. So let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk to you. When I think of Michael, I think of like the friendly face, the familiar face that you see in different crews, kind of like a godfather of running, maybe like the homie, your homeboy that you see in several crews. So who do you run with? What do you think about the culture here?
All right, so my mains would be ARC, Atlanta Run Club, because that's who I started with. I started from the beginning with Running Brunch. From the beginning. I was at the first run when they started on Tuesdays in Buckhead. I remember one day I met Reggie. He was on the podcast a couple months ago. Ever since I met Reggie, I was cool with motion. Every time I go to Charlotte, I link with my people from Mad Miles. I know so many people from Mad Miles. Even I started running with Post recently this year when I was in DC and I had friends that brought me out to DC Run Crew. I was in a bike club, Streets Calling, when I was in DC. Like at one point, like I knew when I moved back down to Atlanta, I was going to connect with run clubs. I didn't realize I will have so many of them to choose from.
I know. I feel like we have like above average, like like a lot more than the standard.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like run clubs of the culture, we have a lot more.
Yeah.
And That's one thing I will say about the Atlanta run community specifically. We have a lot of different diverse clubs, not just black clubs, not just Asian, Hispanics. It's some of every club that's here, and each club has a different vibe. Like motion a little bit, it skews a little bit younger, but a lot of them are black professionals. You have like doctors in that club. People who work for the city of Atlanta. Like me, I work at a bank. And then you got ARC, which is like huge, and it's like some of everybody got people that's still in school, running brunch. We know we skew a little bit older, and people like what 35
Yeah,
average maybe.
millennial-ish, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just some everyone have a different vibe. And one thing I like about Atlanta and the Lunar 5K actually kind of reminded me. I was like, wait a minute, when everyone gets together and everyone's like good vibes, everybody just want to be around each other. Runners, people like supporters. Cause you had like a lot of people that were just cheering. You had music playing. It was like block party vibes. Like I remember with like Rick Ross with Big Peach, South Fulton. We had the Cinco de Mayo run. Same exact vibe. The Black Runners Joy that Julian with On had put on. Like I remember Rick Ross was speaking like when he started running, it wasn't that many black people that was running. And now look at Atlanta. You have black clubs all over the place. You have a lot of black runners. It's amazing. And like I remember, I forgot who said it on Instagram. It was like it mentioned something about they normally be the only black person running at a race. I'm like,
What?
I'm sorry, Atlanta is completely different. Even when we went to Mesa for like my first half marathon
In Arizona.
I remember we was there. A random black guy came to us like, oh my God, all these black people. Like, where are y'all from? We have no one like here in Arizona. I'm like,
Bill.
but for real, it's like it's just Atlanta for you. And then as long as we all together on like, we here for the culture. Like,
Absolutely.
like there's so much going on in the world right now. We got to come back to community.
For sure. Well, speaking of that, Michael has a bit of a social media following. He's been creating his content, running with MB. How did that start? Why does it exist? How has it been going so far?
It's been a fun journey. That's what I can call it because I didn't like take off yet, but I'm starting to get a little bit more consistency.
Little traction.
But it all started because my cousin Corey, he's a big YouTuber. He's been in his content bag since like 2016, and like he done had like a couple of rebrands and everything. But he used to always tell me like, you need to start doing content. And I used to be like, nah, I ain't trying to do all that. Like I'm introverted, quiet. I try to say reserved, but over the years, like especially like last year, I had so many people that I know who weren't really like active. Like they may go to the gym or something. Most of them was like, you inspired me to run, Michael. I'm like,
isn't that the craziest thing to hear?
what? And I didn't even know they be watching like my stories and stuff on Instagram. It's like, yeah, I run because you made it look fun. You made it look easy to start. You made it easy for me to join like a run club or something.
That's what influence actually is. It's not necessarily putting a product next to your face and smiling. It's practicing what you preach or, whatever you want to do, whatever your values are, and having it for the world to see. So people were hitting you up basically just like, you're kind of inspiring me to just do this thing.
Yep, that's why most of if you ever watched any of my reels or anything or short form videos, it's mostly gonna be for like motivation, like be consistent, just try, just do it, no matter what. Just put your forefront, yeah.
Your best foot forward.
Best foot forward. Like it's not as hard as it may appear. And again, back to what Aziza said with being in diversity, like running is not you don't have to be the leanest person. You don't have to be the fastest person. Honestly, you can just do run walks. You're still going to be considered a runner.
Facts. So true. Let's talk a little bit with Aziza about, and I guess both of you guys kind of can touch on this. Tell us about your community involvement. What are some of the organizations that you've, worked with in the past that you think are important?
So I'm primarily partnering with Girls on Run over the last 2 years now. We've helped out with their spring and their fall 5K. And that's such an important group for me to partner with because they came to my school. I went to the Atlanta Girls School.
Really?
And even before I started track and field, that's actually how I started like really running as a child. They would come and they would motivate, girls to be more active and, to be involved in your community. It was kind of like a big sister kind of program. So we would partner up with like coaches who were in high school and some in college. And they just motivate us to get out there and to run, to get out and to give back to your community. And that was such a thing that's very important to me, is to give back to your community.
Mm-hmm.
We speak so much about giving back to the culture, and I think giving back should be more than just giving out shoes and, things of that nature. It really, I feel like there should be more of like a community like involvement in giving back to the community in which we like run around, and that we should do more to serve that. So Girls on the Run is a great program. It helps empower and inspire girls to, feel good about themselves and to know that, they have worth, and that, they're very strong. And it's so good to get out there and to volunteer and to do the community service with these girls, like seeing them run, a lot of them running their first 5K, and seeing how like proud they are running with like their friends and their coaches and their dads.
Yep.
It always just makes me feel good to be out there.
Yeah, we all volunteered.
Yeah.
What, a month, 2 months, 3 months ago?
A couple months ago.
Yeah.
Couple months ago. Cheering these little girls on. I was on them, y'all. I was like, let's go, hurry up. Thanks to you guys, actually, that's how I became involved. I'm not as heavily involved as you all are, but every time the word goes up that, hey, volunteers are needed for XYZ event, I've made sure to kind of pull up. And I think they do like seeing someone who's a little bit older than them, that looks like them, still fly, cheering them on and encouraging them to finish.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's been amazing. And I'm happy that we were all there along with Running Brunch, actually.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate you guys for coming out. They always love the groups. When we come out, they always appreciate that.
And what do you do with ARC?
I also do community service with ARC. We also have partnered with Girls on the Run. We have some projects coming up that I can't talk about yet.
Oh, man.
But I also have I do a lot of background work, so I was able to help James and ARC with the Atlanta Mile that we did last year. I also helped volunteer for the Lunar 5K that we did today. I do a lot of bid pickup, volunteering work, also organizing volunteers to help out with the different races. So.
And how long have you been doing that?
I would say 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you've seen all types of runners come and go, and you've been behind the scenes. Did you also work the event for Gunna?
I did, yeah. I totally forgot about this. So many things, yes. I was out there in the freezing cold.
Ooh, it was
That
cold
was
that
a
day,
very
too?
cold race,
Oh,
yes.
It was cold.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that one.
It was lit though. I was there.
A lot of people.
Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah, we got.
We took over that belt.
We got to get to the specifics. And let's chat a little bit about one thing you had mentioned was, the diversity of seeing different runners that kind of helped you get in where you fit in as far as who you want to run with. That reminds me of some of your alliances, inclusivity, body diversity, and things like that. And also just having friends of not only different ethnic backgrounds, but also orientations. But I've seen that in the things that you talk about in post. Tell us a little bit about why that's important and, who your friends are.
Yeah. It's always important to see somebody who looks like you, knowing that you can do the things that they do. I am actually, when I think about my wanting to run a marathon, I remember seeing Tatiana do the Every Woman's Marathon, 2 years ago?
Yep.
She randomly popped up on my TikTok. Tatiana started Best for Last.
Okay.
And I remember seeing her on my TikTok pop up, and I'm seeing this girl who looks like me, has a body that looks like me, running every weekend documenting her runs, her long runs, and then, preparing to run a marathon. And then seeing her video about running, the Every Woman's Marathon in Savannah in 2024, I remember seeing that and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing to see a woman who looks like me run a marathon. And that also kind of like encouraged me to, I can do that too.
That's one thing that I wanted to, hear from you about, because running is not necessarily a straight white male who's already in shape and is doing a 7-minute mile with his frat bros. Like, it looks different. And, when I see your friends and who you hang out with and your allyship, and you not only that being just a part of you, but you making a point to highlight these things, to mention these things. I think it's so important, and it gives representation to those who might not, be represented and showcased. Let's talk to Michael about some of his pet peeves when it comes to running. I know that you've mentioned the term ego running. What is that? What does it mean to you?
Ego running is just like, how we can go to the gym, you see that they always gonna be some meathead guy trying to lift like the heaviest weight, struggling, but it's the fact that it's heavy, so he gotta make it look like he can do it, making all the noise, all that.
Grunting.
Yes. So in a running sense, it's more so like, oh, I'm about to run this 6-minute mile. Granted, it's just a mile. And his heart rate is probably like 180, 190.
Yeah.
He's going as hard as he can. Or they know how to mess around with their Strava times to make it appear a certain way.
What?
Or
I know people are not manipulating.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
Wait, why?
Like people have an ego. People want to look like they're the best out there. They want to I say the haves and the haves not, but they want to be the haves. They want the clout. Right now it's a lot of clout chasers.
I'm sorry.
People want the brand deals. Like off rip. They didn't put any work in yet.
That leads to injury.
It does. And there's quite a lot of people that's getting injured this year apparently.
Huh. Weren't you injured?
Yeah, I was injured last year.
Was that from ego running?
I don't.
Be honest.
I'm gonna be honest. It was not from ego running.
All right.
Granted, I probably was running while I was injured because of ego running.
Okay. All right.
And there you go.
See, I was already injured before I was ego running. So if I knew what I know now what I know now is just the fact that if I know, like I had posterior tibial tendonitis. So I had an inflamed tendon like on my right inside, like on the ankle. And like I said, it was inflamed and I was still running on it. And then the fact I was training for Peachtree, which is a little bit shorter, meaning I was doing more speed workouts, which puts even more pressure on that tendon. So instead of like just sitting down and resting, I would just kept on aggravating it. I'm like what the world is going on? Why it feels like this? Oh, no worries. I got to keep running. I got to follow the plan. And I just got off of running my second ever half marathon. So I already had a lot of miles back to back for like a couple months straight with like hardly any rest.
What is this need that we have to do this, to ego run, to push when it's illogical or against medical advice? Why do we do this? What do you think?
Runners are not well.
That's true.
We don't know how to sit down.
I think a part of it too is that like we are living in this bubble, but outside, like in regular life, most people are not as like fit. Like it's a sedentary world out there. So we actually are in this world and we can't even really tell that, we're doing too much.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Like, in regard to certain things. And our ego is what's just making us feel like we are just these special unicorns who can, we're invincible and cannot get injured.
Especially when you look at certain people who have been running for years before the even running bubble like exploded. You're just like, oh, this person running like 300 miles a week, man, I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I used to play a sport years ago. I
Years.
can do that. Granted, I ran track years ago. I used to run like 800, 4x8, 1600. Like my mile times were like what, fives, fours around that time back in high school. I can't do that anymore. But as an adult, I'm like, I can still do that. No.
Injury. Boom.
Yeah. I think it's why like I tried to be very like upfront and like very I put everything out there with my marathon training. I would document like how it would feel. I would always tell people I was like, this is really hard, or this was a very hard emotional run for me. I had a very difficult time. Because I feel like sometimes when I look at people's training, it's always like smiley, oh, this is a great run. I ran 20 miles with no issues. And no. A lot of my Strava posts was like, I cried. I crashed out at mile 10. I'm going to be honest with you. I have a blister and I'm not having a great time. Because I don't know. I feel like people only see like the end result, but they don't look at the journey, or they're not looking at the full picture of what like all entails to train for these different races.
So true. That's the age that we live in, you know, with social media. Like we see the good, but the bad and the ugly.
There's a lot. It entails a lot.
Well, we keep it real over here.
I try anyway.
Death row. Yeah. As we wrap this up, what are your tips for someone who is interested in kind of getting into running, even possibly doing a marathon, someone who's watching this maybe from their phone and they have this desire, but, you know, maybe haven't hopped off the porch yet? What would you say to them? I'll start with you.
First, most importantly, don't ego run. I know you're
excited,
see everything, excited, adrenaline pumping, but honestly, like just get out there. You don't have to join a run club yet, or you can go ahead and join one. Just start. Find a plan. You can go on ChatGPT or something, or Google, or get the Runner app, whatever. Just follow a plan. Try to be consistent. Run slow. Run easy. Like your baseline should be, can I actually hold a conversation while I run? That should be your speed until you actually build up your stamina, your endurance, that base mileage. Start there. And then when you see yourself running like 3 miles, like sign for a marathon, not marathon, sign for a 5K.
Yeah.
And right now, like if you're in Atlanta and you're a member of Atlanta Track Club, they have the Beltline series, and their shortest races are 3Ks. That's like 1.5 miles or something like that.
Wow.
It's mad short, so it's really, really good for beginners.
What about you? What do you think?
A couple of things. So for one, which I learned after a couple of weeks of joining ARC, proper shoes and proper fitting shoes. Yeah, do that. Like I said, I went out there with some really cheap like Nikes and just thought, you know, I got some sneakers on, just go for it. And then I started feeling pain in my shins and my knees. And I remember talking to somebody after my first run. They were like, you should probably go to like Flea Feet or Big Peach and get fitted for shoes. So that is very important. When it comes to training or for these races, definitely taking training seriously. So for me, my first half marathon, I remember going to Runner's World and finding a plan and following that. For my marathon.
What is Runner's World?
Runner's World is a runner's online magazine. They also have an Instagram, and they're always like giving updates on different runners or different races from around the world. It's very informative. So I used them, and I knew for my marathon that I wanted the personal coaching to check in with somebody who has done marathons before, and somebody that I'm close to and that I look up to. Said I hired Tunde from Atlanta Run Club, and he gave me a training plan. I made sure I followed that to a T because Like I said, I wanted to finish the marathon. That was my goal.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like when you don't follow a plan. I know what it looks like when you're not strength training. And I know running a marathon was hard. So I wanted to make sure that I did everything in my power to have as much of an enjoyable experience as I could.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate having that like personal one-on-one coaching. He would check in with me every Sunday. I would let him know what was working for me, what wasn't working for me. And that's how I was able to get to the finish line. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Nice. Alrighty. And where can people find you on social media?
You can follow me on all platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Running with MB.
And I am just on Instagram under Queen Ziza.
Queen, period. Alrighty, y'all. Well, thank you so much for watching the Run Cult podcast. And remember, running is not just only a sport, it's a culture. Period. See ya. How was it?
It's fun.
Thank you, guys.
Told you to go 2 hours.
You over here talking about you too tired to talk, Mr. Yapper. Yapping time.
You only went to like 2 points.
Yeah, you did. I kind of, it worked out. Everything was pretty much hit on, actually. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
How do we do, Dre? Thank you.